YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back on the first day of this NFL free agency madness, and it's really not even the first official start day of the league, and we already got all kinds of news and rumors coming out, and I'm here to break it all down. A lot to get to, actually. I wanted to start it off with this video here, breaking down all 15 of the franchise tags, and I'm going to grade them, give you my thoughts and grade them. After this, I want to get to a signings grading video, talking about the top signings so far today. A lot more to come, and then grade them. But we actually already got started, too, on our second channel. If you guys didn't know, we have a second channel, the GOAT House Plus. We actually already got started with the big trades that happened, the trades in the past as well. I broke those down and graded them. DeAndre Hopkins, Hayden Hurst, and DeForest Buckner trade. So you're going to want to go over to our second channel. There's the link right there. You'll find a link down below. Subscribe to that and check out those videos. And then please subscribe to both these channels. That would help us out a bunch. Full free agency, draft, just full NFL coverage in general. And you're going to want to follow that Twitter. That's a must follow there. Breaking news, instant reaction to breaking news, and breaking down the details, my thoughts, answering any questions. So click that link below. Follow us on Twitter. It's a must follow. And then we have a new podcast, 4 episodes out, link down below for Spotify and Apple. But let's get to it. The first one we'll talk about is Dak Prescott. He got the exclusive rights tag from the Dallas Cowboys. And it's a tough one to grade, too, because, yeah, you would like to lock up your quarterback long-term, and it's tough because what was he really asking for? We heard $35 million a year. We heard $40 million a year. We don't really know what's, true. So, I mean, it's a tough one to grade. I'm going to give it a B for the Cowboys. I'm grading the team for in this video for each of these. I'm going to give it a B because, yeah, again, we really don't know what he was asking for. I think it makes sense, too, because if the Cowboys miss the playoffs again next year, I know it wasn't Dak's fault last year they missed the playoffs. You can put the blame here and there. There was some games here and there where, yeah, Dak would like those games back. It kind of hurt the team when they still had chances. Looking at that Bears game towards the end of the year, but not a good game from him. But my point is, yeah, I guess another 1-year trial, to see what he's worth. If they miss the playoffs again, it's not going to be worth a whole bunch. To me, this is good for Dak. I think most likely he'll earn more money in a contract going forward, and most likely the Cowboys will end up spending more in a contract, but that's going to be pushed back a year, so it's really not the end of the world for them. Now they can focus on some other players, but that's kind of the downside. They've been so focused on, trying to get a deal done with Dak Prescott where, Cooper's testing free agency now at the moment of recording this, and a couple other guys, obviously, and they haven't really been able to do much besides put this tag on Dak Prescott. So I would give it a B. That's a weird one to grade, so let me know your guys' thoughts. Kenyan Drake gets the transition tag, and that's going to pay him just north of $10 million. And, I mean, that's a tough one, too, because is he worth... I wish they could have just reached a deal in terms of the contract, because I think the contract would have been much, much cheaper, but maybe the question is, yeah, he played half of a good season with us. We want more of a trial. But, I mean, look at, yeah, the transition tag. Teams can still, the difference between the franchise tag, transition tags, teams could actually go make an offer and they can match it. Otherwise, they're going to pay him. It's basically like he's franchise tagged them, but at a little cheaper. We'll talk about Derrick Henry. He got the franchise tag just over $12 million. So, I mean, you're cutting it close with Derrick Henry, Kenyan Drake. I think they could have done a much cheaper and better job reaching a contract deal here. I think it's a little overpaid for this year, and they also have DeAndre Hopkins coming in, which is a good thing. And I broke that down in the trade video. But yeah, maybe not going to be able to go out and spend a whole bunch, and I don't think anybody's going to match this either. So I'm going to give him a C here. Yeah, I like him in that system. That's good they got him back. It's good that it's a 1-year deal, I guess. They don't have to do much of a trial. But I really think you could have done a 2- or 3-year deal for a lot cheaper to save money. So there's some good, there's some bad in that one. So I'll give it a C. It's going to be way easier to grade the signings. Franchise tags are weird because what should they have done? What's better? It's kind of tough. Anthony Harris, the Vikings get him back. Kind of a surprise. A couple months ago, or maybe a month ago, wasn't really a surprise. You think the Vikings would franchise tag Anthony Harris, and these reports coming out that they're going to let him test free agency. And the franchise tag is going to pay him about $12.6 million this year, which I think he would have got more contract-wise. You know, to me, this is a pretty simple one. This is huge news that the Vikings got him back. I'm going to give it an A. Because he had a career year last year, was a big-time playmaker. I feel like he won them games. You know, he was big in the playoff game against the Saints, kind of covering center field. It allows Harrison Smith to kind of do his thing, you know, be instinctive up in the box, you know, almost as a linebacker at times. I think he's a very important piece. I think the safety duo is a very important pieces to this Vikings team. So they get him back. It's also cheaper than what a contract would be. You know, so this is good, maybe a little surprising. And they don't open up another giant hole. You know, they bring back their big-time playmaker. So I think that was a pretty simple one there. The only downside, I guess, is they won't be able to bring in any major additions, and they probably weren't anyways while losing him. So really, it's a good thing at the end of the very good thing at the end of the day here. And then we're moving on to the next player that was franchised. It's Bud Dupree, franchised since it's a 3-4 scheme, he plays outside. He's a pass rusher, plays outside linebacker. So the good news there is, I guess the bad part of the franchise tag is really they save money, so that's good. It's about $16 million, but defensive ends would get just north of $19 million. I think there needs to be a tag for just pass rushers because, you know, if he was in a 4-3, he'd be a DN. So that's questionable on the NFL's part. But yeah, this is I guess another tough one. I'm gonna give the Steelers an A on this one because they keep the defense together. Yeah, they're not going to be able, kind of like the Vikings. They're not going to be able to make any major additions. They weren't really anyways, even if they lost him. It was pretty much Dupree or Hargrave. Yeah, I don't really like franchise tagging a nose tackle. So I think they made the right choice. You keep the band together, and you kind of get better. Even though you don't get big additions, you know, after this really is an addition. You kind of get better by default, bringing Big Ben back. So overall, this is pretty good. Bud Dupree, again, I think he'll get around $16.1 million this year with the tag. Steelers are going to be in the negative there, but keep the defense together for the most part here. Next, you know, I can't believe the amount of franchise tag players here. AJ Green is next, gets tagged, and that is going to pay him $18.3 million this year, 2020 season, $18.3 million. Yeah, I don't like this one. I talked about this on Twitter, you know, a few weeks ago when we thought this would happen. You know, I kind of valued him contract-wise because of the, you know, he's getting up there in age. That's really a minor part of it. The major part is the injuries that are kind of coming back and keeping him off the field, you know. On top of, you know, that kind of goes with getting up there in age. You know, we haven't really seen him play. When was the last time we seen him play? December 2018. You know, we really don't. I mean, obviously, it'd be a great educated guess to say that he's still a good receiver for sure, but we haven't seen him play in a while. We don't know how he is after the injuries. We just don't really know. I would have valued him, yeah, around 10, 11, maybe 12 million per year. The tag gives him $18.3 million this year, and while we're in the best draft class in NFL history. Yeah, I guess the Bengals are in the best position to get, because they have to use the first pick on Joe Burrow. They need linemen. You know, it's an overspend here at the end of the day. Well, let me reveal the grade here. I don't like it. I'm going to give it a D. It's obvious I don't like it. It's too much money. I guess the positive, it's only 1 year, even though they're still trying to lock him up long term. Too much money when you have a great draft class coming up. We really don't know. AJ Green might not even be on the field this year at times. I hate to say it. But the reason it's on an F is because, yeah, I mean, you're going to need some good receivers for Joe Burrow out there. You see what he had at LSU. So I just don't like the money in this one. It's you know, if I probably wouldn't, even though I value him around 10, 11 million per year. If it was me running a front office, I wouldn't even, you know, even if I needed a receiver, I wouldn't even, you know, contacted him to do that, even though that's where I value him, you know, especially with this draft class. I'm just not spending that much money on a risk here. So that's the main reason I don't really like it. And now we got Derrick Henry. Yeah, a lot plays into this one too. I mean, we'll show my grade right off the bat here. I'm going to give it an A because it pays him $12.3 million. And I think he probably would have gotten $15 million per year if it was a contract. So that's a good thing. They save money. And running backs, they kind of just the reason people don't pay running backs a lot of money is because, yeah, some don't make a huge impact. Derrick Henry does. I think in this case, they can fall off at any point. You know, it just seems like whenever they're done with their contract, it's time to get a new running back. They didn't use Derrick Henry a whole bunch right away, so he's still got fresh legs, still very young. You know, not a guy that I'm worried about falling apart, but you know, it happens. You know, running back. So my point is having a 1-year deal. Kind of, let's see if he's still fresh. You know, most likely he will be. Let's see how he gets through the season, and then we can make a long-term deal with him. So it's kind of the good thing. You know, the bad thing is it could piss him off. I don't see him being the type to sit out. So if he eventually sits out and they don't have him, then this ends up being an F. Obviously, I just don't see it. He's gonna be pissed though. Yeah, he's not gonna be happy. You know, the quarterback, you know, Tannehill got the big money. He got the tag. I mean, he isn't a quarterback. He has to realize that, though. Maybe he does. So it's for the team, for the Titans, I like this. I guess we got to wait and see what happens with him. But this is better than like if they would have paid him even $14 million per year on a 4-year deal. This is definitely better right now. If you're a Titans fan, yeah, I can understand if Titans fans are, you know, a little upset because this is probably your favorite player. You know, this is your guy. You want him locked up. You know, it is a good thing, though, as long as he's not super pissed off. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on some of these tags. Just the number of tags this year, ridiculous. You know, last year there was about like 4 or 5, and most of them got traded. So we'll see if some of these guys definitely can get traded. So Hunter Henry gets tagged, and instantly when he's tagged, that means he's the highest paid tight end in football. I know Hooper got an interesting deal, so we'll see where that's at. And right off the bat, like, should he be that high? You know, should it be that much money? You know, I guess perfect world here, the Chargers reach the deal. Maybe it's around 10, you know, just under $10 million per year. The tag's gonna be 10, you know, over 10. It's gonna be 10.8, 10.9 million per year. So it's top tier tight end money right there. I don't really mind it though. You know, first glance, I'm like, yeah, Hunter Henry should not be the highest paid tight end. It's 1 year. It's a trial. It's a guy that's got hurt, but he's a very good weapon, a very good tight end, very young still. So I'm okay with this one. You know, I'm all right. The Chargers have the cap space. It's not hurting them big time. Yeah, it would have been an A or, you know, a great thing if they got him for a little less on a couple-year contract. But, yeah, you don't want to be stuck with him long-term if he continues to get hurt, because we've seen it in the past. But a very solid tight end, and it has been productive for them. So, you know, we'll see what happens with him production-wise, if they improve or their quarterback position or whatever they decide to do. So, overall, I like it better than I initially thought. And then we got Chris Jones, another impossible one to grade. Well, I mean, not really. It's pretty straightforward. We give it an A because they get Chris Jones back. To me, he's an elite defensive lineman. To me, he was a dominant player. He's always a dominant player, but in the Super Bowl, in the AFC Championship game, you know, it's an elite player. He's still young. We've seen he play 3-4 in an end. They switched to a 4-3. He's just as dominant, even more dominant in the 4-3 D tackle. He's a gifted player. They get him back when they're limited on cap. This is going to pay. It's going to underpay him around $15.3 million. So for the team that's good, we're going to see if he holds out what it is. I've heard rumors that he could be traded. Yeah, you don't really want to trade this player, but if he's going to sit out and you can't reach a deal with him because they're limited on cap, you know, technically, they're going to have to make some more cuts, and then they could reach a deal and pay him what he deserves. And we just saw DeVorest Buckner get paid $21 per year. So I would imagine Chris Jones, you know, his value is, we're going to break a record. He's going to be the, you know, Aaron Donald's still the best defensive lineman, but him being, you know, in the market for a contract right now, you know, it makes sense that he's the highest paid, $23 million per year. Technically, the Chiefs can make that happen, but it's really going to make their Mahomes extension, you know, what he deserves, close to impossible, which doesn't even have to happen this year. It's going to hurt them in the long run. And, I mean, that's the key piece of the NFL, really. So they very well could trade him is what I'm getting to. I've heard that it's possible, and I can believe that. So we can come back. We'll grade the trade if it happens. But if they can't have him, at least, you know, they're going to get something from him. We'll see what it is. The value of a lot of these players are all over the place. You see the value of DeAndre Hopkins, and you see the value of DeForest Buckner. It's ridiculous. So who knows? We'll try to keep you updated on that on Twitter and with the videos. But they got him back, you know, underpaid. It's really not a good news if he sits out. It's really not good news for Chris Jones. That's why it's kind of tough to great franchise tags, but I love to break it down because this is 15 really good players here. Matthew Judon, first glance, at first I liked it because I think you save money. You know, tagged as a linebacker since he's an outside linebacker in a 3-4, $16 million. You may have saved money. That's still a huge hit. A guy to me, Judon's a solid pass rusher. I mean, he's pretty damn good, but I think almost you put any solid pass rusher in there, he's going to be pretty good. And then you kind of look at Zadarius Smith. They let him walk. He's pretty much got that same price tag on him. Again, I really, I'm kind of shaking my head that they let him walk. Tremendous player, very young, a lot of potential. And this could be another trade candidate too. They can trade him. We'll see what they get. I kind of think a third round plus maybe something, a third round plus a fifth or a sixth possibly. That's what I would, some people think second, maybe second by itself. It's possible. So again, we'll try to keep you updated on that. If a trade goes down, we'll grade that. But kind of back and forth. And this is still a cap hit. They did get Calais Campbell with it. I'm kind of back and forth. I give it a B. Nothing spectacular here. If they let him walk, they would have got a third round comp pick next year. And they tried to get that's something else. They tried to get Jason Pierre-Paul. I can confirm that actually. They tried to sign him. And he ended up being pretty cheap for the Bucs. So I kind of want to know if the Ravens were lowballing or if he just wanted to go back to the Bucs. But I feel like he would have taken the money. So you could have let Judon walk, get JPP back. Some people will say one's better, the other better, and they're pretty even in my opinion. But looking at what JPP got, pretty interesting. But a couple mil cheaper than Judon on his franchise tag. I'll give it a B. It's still a wait and see on the trade, of course. And then moving on to Leonard Williams, franchise tagging him. Still trying to confirm, but I believe he'll be tagged as a DN because technically he's a 3-4 DN, and that pays $19.1 million. I don't know. I don't like what the Giants did from the start. I'm just going to throw a D at them because I don't like what they did. I don't like the trade. I hated the trade at the time. And now they're stuck in a situation where this guy's asking for a ridiculous amount of money because he wants to be franchise tagged. It's going to pay him much more than he'll get. The Giants set themselves up with the whole trade, and they really set themselves up. I would give them an F, but I would be basically grading the trade then. I guess that's not 100% fair, but the trade got them here. He had leverage. He knew what he was doing. I'll give an A+ to Leonard Williams and his agent. We'll give an A+ there. This is what they wanted because he's getting paid more than he would have got paid, and then he'll hit the market next year. He can't get franchise tag, but then he'll get a contract, get some money. So he's going to play pretty well this year, and I'm sure he's confident he will. So he wins this. The Giants, the good news is you got a solid player back, but it's really overall, it's not good, really, the whole situation. And we're moving to another guy that I would give him and his agent an A+, because this is what they wanted. Top tier guard money, top of the league. I know there was a couple more that were tagged or paid. Top of the league guard money, top tier right guard money there. It's going to pay just about $16 million for Brandon SCHERFF to the Redskins. But, with that being said, you can't, the Redskins did the right thing. They did what they had to do here. You couldn't let him walk. Flowers got a ridiculous contract that the Redskins didn't want to and shouldn't have paid, so good on them for not doing that. Brandon SCHERFF, they needed back. They pretty much had no choice, and they didn't trade for this guy and put them in that situation like the Giants, They had no choice. So, it's not great because he's getting a little overpaid, so you can't give him an A, but you needed this guard back, a guard on the rise, a young guard. You needed him back. So, it's still a solid grade here. And then we got ShAQ Barrett, and ShAQ Barrett, here's the first, I wasn't really going to do pluses, minuses, but this is the first one. I'm going to give an A+ for the Buccaneers because I think he's the real deal. I don't really need to see more, but at the same time, he's had only one. It was a really good year. So put him on the franchise tag because he was asking for a lot of money. Give him another trial, then we'll figure out the contract. Another good news is Bucs switched to a 3-4 last year. What does that mean? He was a linebacker, outside linebacker, 3-4, $16 million. He's underpaid, but he's only had one really good year. I think everyone's okay with it here. We'll see if he holds out. I don't think so. That's an A+ move. A+ move for the Bucs. And we'll talk about the signings too, but the Jason Pierre-Paul deal is absolutely great. So the Bucs having themselves a heck of a first day, in my opinion. So that's big time. And then we got Justin Simmons, who's actually supposed to get a deal. deal going here. I'll give this one an, we'll see what the deal is. I'm going to give it an A+ too, because I think he was. I gave Anthony Harris the best safety of the year award in 2019 just for 1 year, and I would give Justin Simmons number 2. Tyrann Mathieu more of a football player. I was higher on him than those guys in terms of player rankings. He's not really a true safety, so just keep that in mind. But with that being said, I said Anthony Harris was the best safety of 2019. I said Justin Simmons was the second best. But who do I think is the better safety? I think Justin Simmons is. Imagine him with a guy like Harrison Smith. But what I'm getting to is this guy is very good. I was high on him out of Boston College, very high on him now, is a beast. And getting tagged at $12.6 million is underpaying him. If he was given the Eddie Jackson contract, wouldn't complain at all, would make sense. So, yeah, another A+. They're not limited cap-wise. I gave the Vikings an A for Anthony Harris as a good deal. Same situation. They're a little limited cap-wise, can't really gain additions. They wanted him back, so still an A. This one, they can still gain players. Seeing that as I'm recording this, they signed Graham Glasgow, so they're able to gain players here. This is an A+, and we'll see what the contract is. We'll grade the contract if it changes from tag to contract. We got you with that. But so far, that's what it is. Joe Thuney, another one that, borderline, but I'm gonna give it an A+ because I think he's worthy of being the highest paid guard for them. He's very important to them, and he actually could be traded, and that's kind of a good thing too, because it does limit them cap wise because they do need to get some other guys back. But I really think they can. I still think they had a decent amount of cap. They're just not going to be able to gain a bunch of additions. But Joe Thuney was a very important piece to me, and I still think they can get Tom Brady back, and I know they can get him back. Will they is the question. But yeah, kind of bring up the trade factor. If they trade him, that's kind of great too, because they get something out of nothing and they save the money. So we'll see what happens. But it was such an important piece to them. They get him back, or they trade him and they get. Because at one point I thought he was just gonna be able to sign with the Jets or whoever it may be. So it's kind of a good thing in my mind here. And then we got Yannick NGAKOUE, which. Yeah, kind of a similar situation. I'll give that one an A+ too, because starting to give out A+'s because $19 million's a lot, but I think he would have got more from some team as a contract. But so if he plays, he's playing at a pretty good contract, 1-year contract. If he doesn't, then you trade him. I think they can get it I really think they can get a late first. If not, almost equal to value without being a first. So then they're going to get something out of nothing. So I think either way, it's good for the Jags where they're heading. Maybe it's not good where they're heading. People don't like that, what they've done with Calais Campbell. I didn't like that at all. But yeah, it works out because it's right around his value, maybe a little less. You have him, then that means you got a good pass rusher. If you don't, you're trading him for something. So I think he'll make it pretty clear if he's playing or not. I think they trade him. I don't know. They're insisting on keeping him, but I think they trade him, so we'll see. But that's my breakdown on the franchise tag, exclusive tag, transition tag, players there. Let me know your guys' thoughts. We got to get to the actual major signings, and I got to do the same thing, kind of grade those, break them down. There's some that I really like. There's some that I really hate. So I can't wait to talk about those, and then we'll try to talk about any rumors or things I expect to happen too. So a lot to get to on both channels, and we're already covering a lot on Twitter. You're going to want to follow that, subscribe to both channels. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.